Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ihor, and today we are super excited to have some famous people joining us for our webinar. So I'm happy to introduce Lara Homans, who've been in coaching for past 30 years, if not more, who incorporated, started a lot of organizations, and who just at the end of the day having amazing story. So I'm really excited to have Lara today with us. Lara, thank you so much for being today with us.
Hello, Igor. Hello to everyone. I'm really happy and grateful to be here. And I just want to make a small correction. So I'm in coaching not for 30 years, but definitely over 20 years. I discovered coaching actually 22 years ago. But I think I was feeling the coaching mentality much earlier. I didn't know that it called coaching, but definitely
Mhm.
I connected many different professional areas in my life. I said I had probably not one, but several professional lives.
Nice. See, big story, and official coaching more than 20 years, but your mental coaching, I guess I was right with my guessing of 30 years, so which is good. So anyway, we are having great conversation today about stories. So we're gonna talk how stories are actually changing our lives and why you should make these bold moves into your into starting the new stories, into starting the adventures. So we prepare some great presentation for today. I'll be happy to start sharing my screen, right? And we'll be happy to take it from there. So let me share my screen and yes, so that's our presentation today. The power of transformational stories, together with Lara Homans. So, cool. Let's get the party started. And before doing this, I just wanna say a couple of words about our today's sponsor, which is Workee. Workee is all-in-one automation software for small businesses and freelancers. And the way Workee works, Workee helps you to automate your boring routine operations like client communication, invoices, all this stuff, and help you to transform most of your product, most of your time into your product. Because for all freelancers, their time is their product. So with Workee, Workee helps you to automate your payments through Stripe, PayPal, Workee payments. We help you to automate your client communications through WhatsApp, SMS, and email. With Work, you're getting all video call recording, invoices, personal website, and booking system already built in. And we helping you to create your digital store where you can offer products, services, and get paid and grow your business. We recently announced collaboration and partnership with International Coaching Federation. So we are getting closer to big guys, and yeah, some couple of exciting partnerships are coming soon. So happy to see how we are moving fast here. Let's get the party started, and to start the party, like to introduce Lara Homans. So there are many hats that Lara is having. Most important and most famous of them, it's creative entrepreneur, a new narrative strategist, transformational story designer, soul-driven leadership coach and mentor, and published author and podcast host. I met Lara this summer actually through introduction from her customers. So this is another great confirmation, seeing a lot of great people went through Lara hands and Lara coaching. And yeah, I was also pleased to be guest at Lara's podcast. So this is how we actually met, and we decided, okay, it's time. Seems like it's time to get our story. Lara, anything that I'm missing, feel free to hop in.
Uh, I don't think that you missed something because our joint story is not very long, but definitely the story is unfolding in very creative and I cannot say innovative way, but definitely in transformative ways. Because when I met you for the first time, when we had the conversation for the first time, I thought, oh my goodness, Igor, where you were before when I started and why I didn't know about what your company is doing and how great it would be using your platform. So I'm quite new at the Working Net. but I'm not new in using different platforms. And I definitely can see that this easy touch and friendly and very caring hands you have, and you are keeping all your clients, yeah, all the people who are using your platform, like about 20,000. So what I'd like to say about myself, stories became my passion not when I became the journalist. It happened much earlier. Maybe during the presentation, I will have the point or the time to share my story, which I'm carrying for maybe 60 years. Yeah. I definitely would like to say that the creativity, courage, and the sense of wonder are my drivers, and also the different heads. Sometimes it's not easy to have two heads, three heads, but it's necessary to be sure, okay, what the heads I am now having. But I'd like to say that during this presentation, so I will be sharing my stories, but this event is not about me. It's about everybody who already joined, and it's about everybody who will be watching and listening the recorded webinar. So this is a place when I can say it's open place, it's partnership conversational space, and also it's creative space. So for those of you who are already with us, please make sure that you have some notes, some papers, and what you would like to make notes by. So if you would like to use your tablets, fine, your cell phone, fine, but I definitely encourage you to use your hands, like I use my hands when I was creating this angel. Because the experience we have, you have, this is the glay. We are creating stories. And you mentioned that the person who connected us was my coaching partner, actually my coachee. And she was not in my hands. I think I was touching her stories and her experiences, and she was developing the new experience. And this is what actually story is about. Thank you, Igor. Can we move? Oh, before I will ask question about this picture. Igor, I'd like to ask you to ask one question right now, not to wait until the end. And the
Mm-hmm.
same question, the same invitation for the people who are watching our event. Just give me one question and I can answer as honestly as possible, like 100% honestly. Two questions, and then we will move to what we prepared for all of
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm. The question is like very simple. Why? Uh, why? Why are you doing what you're doing in your profession? Like, what's the number one reason?
Uh, the best way to answer why, because I cannot do what I'm doing. So actually, the story language is the language that my soul is speaking, and the story language and the story mindset and the story skill set and the story tool set. This is what I'm having. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, teaching at the business school, writing the concept of the podcast, because I think that life is about us with our stories. And this is why. This is what I cannot do. It was with
Mm-hmm.
me
Interesting.
for many years, from journalism to public relations to strategic communications to business education. So, because story is alive.
Interesting. Yeah, I like it. One more question, or should we go?
Any question from our audience? If there is no question, we can move.
Do we have a question from audience? Guys, we do have chat, so we are welcome to leave your questions in a chat and we will definitely go through. So don't be shy, leave your questions. And maybe while we are, okay, we have some questions. Let me double check this. Okay, we have something. Okay, let me stop sharing so I don't see. Yeah. Uh, No, chat is not disabled. You can write, I see your mic, I can see your question. So chat works. All good. So we can hear you, we can read your questions. So if you have any other questions, just feel free to hop in, and I'll make sure that we can read all the questions. Okay, let me go back to the presentation and share again.
I can see Mikhailo Kashin. Mikhailo, hi. It's amazing. When did we see each other for the last time? So definitely we had joint stories.
Cool. And last question from my end would be like, what's next? So we know what you're doing on why. Like, what's next for you? What's number one big dream?
Publishing. So this is a new
Nice.
professional identity, the new professional way and the role in my activities. So I am working on the two books right now. One book is another person's book, and the second one is mine. So I think next year will be very big for me because of publishing.
I love it. Yeah, amazing work and great goal. So good luck with this. We'll be happy to support you and read your products. Cool. Let's move forward. So we have
Igor, can come back to the previous slide because I have a question about that picture.
yes.
Yes. So this picture has a story behind, and I'm asking you, Igor, and our audience just to think what this picture might be about, what the story might be behind this picture, and the someone who can come with the closest answer to the true answer will get a gift from me. So I will come back to this at the end. Just look at, think, reflect, and type what the story might be about. Okay, and we can move forward.
Okay, nice. Cool. Let's move forward.
You know what we are going to talk today? You were going through the announcement, and also I'd like you to focus on three words: define, design, develop. You know that we are promising that it will be possible to look at your experience and to define the points, to define the moments, to define the story that might have transformational seeds. And also we're going through, and you can see how it's possible to design, or what you can use to design your story portfolio or your story map. Actually, to work with the stories, it's not linear, but it's very interesting creative process, and I'm inviting you just to trust yourself and to do what is possible to do right now, not to put, okay, I will do it on later when I will have time. Just use this time to be with your story, to be with yourself, and to design at least the first initial map of your stories you would like to use, or you are using differently, or would like to use differently, and also to look at how it's possible to develop like blueprint of your communication strategy, for example, or your communication actions based on what you discovered today, or what you can discover today. And also, in this presentation, I am using only my pictures. So I'm not asking about permission to use. It's not from internet, that every picture has a story behind. And when I'm choosing to add some pictures to my presentation, so it's actually not just to illustrate or entertain you, but also it's bring another metaphors and meaning, because story work is extremely metaphorical. You can choose different metaphors to explain the story, but the stairs is we can go up, we can go down. We can go to see the sky, we can go very deep to our experience and to define ourselves. And also because I'm not explaining what story does mean based on the dictionary, as one of my coaches said, it's not about dictionary question. It's about unpacking meaning. I'm inviting you to unpack meaning, your meaning about the stories that you hold, that you care, and you would like to develop. And also, another definition of story, by the way, it's the floor. This is a store, we are saying. 5-story building, Yeah, 3-store building. The question is, how many stores we have in our life? Professional life, personal life,
Interesting.
family life, social life. So just look at. And this picture came from London, and it's very interesting. I love this picture. So move forward.
Interesting.
And again, I'm here not to share what I know about the stories. I am here to invite you to create your understanding of the stories you are carrying, you are living in, you are exploring, you are willing to create. And my question to you, I like this symbol again, the question and the key. And I'm inviting you, Igor, you too, because you are the facilitator of this webinar. Just please end the sentence, finish the sentence. A story is. It can be one word, 2 words, 3 words, one sentence. Just
It's a
take 60
journey.
seconds. Igor is saying it's a journey. Okay. If some question can come from the chat, it would be good. Igor, is any way to say what story is in addition to journey?
It's life.
Yes. Okay. When I'm doing, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm checking what now people are saying about something what I'm doing. And this morning I checked what Google is saying about telling stories. And just in half a second, it was possible to receive 2,920,000,000 of results. It's a huge amount of information, huge. Yeah. And also, when I'm asking what storytelling is, it's about 500,000,000 of results, just 0.33 seconds. Yes. But when I ask story thinking, I received only 104,000 results. My role here is to invite you to think about stories wider, maybe more creative, and as a systematic way. Not just to repeat the story is something I'm telling because it happened in my life. And also, it's my invitation to unpack meaning in different ways. You can use it not only with story, but you can use it with anything. If you would like to explain what are your values, just put values are, and you are finishing that sentence. Or team spirit is, and you can explain. Or my entrepreneurial journey is, and you can do it just in one sentence, and you can unpack meaning which can be related to the stories you can keep behind the sentence. This is just how take out what you already knew. And another way, just look at the word you are explaining now, like story, as abbreviation, STORY. Just look at vertically and give another meaning by using the words which are connected with this word, a story, and have meanings and can explain what story does mean to you. It's different way, because I can tell why I'm doing this. It's not just words exercise, but actually it's mental gymnastic. I started learning English when I was 36 years old, from 0 point, from zero level. And in 2 years, I received the job where English was official language, working language. I never thought that it would become possible, because as usual, we are very, we can learn language when we are children, yes, or in young age, but not to do in very solid age. And this is how I was expanding my language, my English language. I was building my way to learn English. I'm still learning. I can still make mistakes. I can still feeling confused. Okay, what I can use right now? I'm Ukrainian. My native language is Ukrainian. So English came to my life when I already learned Ukrainian, even German language. But this is the language. I discovered a lot of new things. Story language is very similar. I inviting you to ask, what do I know about story language? And coming back to my question, can you see the abbreviation STORY? Did you do anything like that? just give some ideas.
Hmm.
I can help you if you can open the next slide, because I'm giving some ideas. How would it be? Yes?
Oh, nice. Mhm.
Yeah. So this is how it's possible to explain what story is. It's about to have sense of moment, to have the sense of yourself, to have the sense of the situation, to have the sense of urgency, to have the sense of connection with people. And also, why we love stories. As a human beings, we are wired to live with stories, by stories, in stories, and with stories. Sometimes I'm thinking we are not human beings, we are narrative beings or story beings. Because this is how we construct, reconstruct, deconstruct, and again construct our lives. The people who join this webinar, after the webinar, can tell different stories. You, Igor, can tell one story. I can tell my story. Mikhailo Kashin probably can tell different stories. Someone else whom I don't know can tell the stories. It will be the same event, but different stories. But what I love in stories, that stories are creating trust, or can create problems in trust. And also stories are also always about time. It's not about the time when we are telling stories, but the time when we are experiencing something that after that we can put as a story and we can share. I can share you the story how my grandmother learned how to write and speak when she was in my age. She was living her life without being able to read and write. And when she did it, when she was about 60, and then she started writing, and writing. And the two words I learned after the word mama was granny write. Because granny was coming to babysit me, and when she was babysitting me, she was writing. And I was observing how she was doing it. And my parents were joking that when granny was writing, I was staring at her like little girl, staring at her, and I was calm because my granny was writing and she was speaking at the same time. I don't remember what she was writing about, definitely. She passed away many, many years ago. I was not able to ask her. But this is why I was wired to love stories, because it came from my early, early childhood. But now I'm telling these stories in 60 years after. And also stories are always opening. Why we like stories, why we like hearing stories of other people? Because we can see ourselves in these stories. We can make some connections. We can agree or disagree. We can say, okay, it does make sense, it makes sense. It's very interesting, it's provoking. And again, stories are opening new opportunities. Igor, you can share your entrepreneurial story. Someone can hear and say, oh, I can do the same. Yes, I can hear some story and I can say, oh, I didn't try it, I will do it. So we love know about other people's life, experience, challenges, transformations, lessons learned, values. And also, stories are always about reason or reasons, and stories are always about result or results. It's not about our experience, it's about what we can get, what we can achieve when we are sharing the stories. We are always have a purpose, the reason, and the results we are expecting. And also the why, it's about you, narrator or hero or protagonist within the story, and about your audience or audiences. So this is how I can see stories, but it's not the only one way how I can explain. I'm using this approach uh, every time when I'm introducing the story concept, story thinking concept, and I'm asking people to do the same. And trust me, never, never it was the same. Never. Everybody is explaining and discovering the new meaning. So I'm inviting you who are listening to us now, will be listening later, do this exercise. Story is about working, and we can move forward. I'm not giving the definition of story, but what I love to say, I love this the quote that the story, the world is not created from atoms. The world is created by stories, and the story from Old Greek language, storia, actually is about the experience, about the knowledge about life obtained by experience. And this is why I'm using this picture from small to the bigger. And this quantum of experience can be like one moment, 30 seconds, one conversation, one meeting, one question that changed life or change perception to the whole life. And this is why we are saying life story, business story, leadership story, family story, entrepreneurial story, success story, failure story. And it's about quantum of experience, and you can choose what kind of experience you are putting in the form of stories. And also stories are always on the line, lifeline, professional line, leadership line, companies line, changes line, countries line. And at every moment, you can stop and choose what kind of story you need right now and what kind of stories you are creating right now. So we can move forward here. It was November, late evening, quite late evening. It was a business school in Kiev. I was teaching at the business school. I was the leader of one of MBA program. I was 52, and we are sitting together, my colleagues who are teaching at the business school, who were leading the business school, and the professor from Canada came. And it was very interesting conversation. And that professor asked not just me, but all of my colleagues, how have you landed here?
Mm-hmm.
And the question, how have you landed here, actually was about what is your story? What did you bring here? How did you come here? And it was a moment when I really started thinking it's really interesting, not because I didn't know my resume. Yes, of course I knew my resume. Yes, but I was thinking how it's possible to connect different life experiences, professional experiences. And the question, what is your story, which is not easy to answer, trust me, I'm working with leaders. And when I'm asking them, what is your story? Do you know it's the most difficult question to answer? Because the leaders are saying, okay, should I tell about my experience? Should I tell about my resume? Should I tell
Yeah,
what I'm doing
I
now?
feel you.
Yeah. So but the question, what is your story? Actually, this is a moment to connect and moment to bring your uniqueness. If I can say that I'm doing coaching, okay, there are hundreds of coaches around the world. If I can say I'm leadership coach, okay, hundreds of coaches, thousands of leadership coaches, yes, like entrepreneurs, like English teachers, like solo providers or trainers or facilitators or designers. Okay, why someone needs to choose you, Igor, to choose me, to choose someone else? Why? Not because of what I'm doing, but because who am I? But how I can tell who am I? And this is the answer. What is your story? Actually, the moment to look at the mirror and to see really who are you. And then this picture, it's me who is flying, really. This is a little girl who was flying many professional lands, who were living in Ukraine, who is living in United States now since 2015, and who is connected different worlds, different cultures, different experiences, different mentalities, different mindsets. And we can move forward. I'm using these pictures just to give you idea that you, Igor, and everybody who is listening to us have stories as a manifestation of life. Everyone, why I am not very excited about telling stories? I'd like you to look at as a story creator, as a story designer, as a story author, as a story explorer. Everyone is a story creator, and after that, storyteller, not before storyteller. We cannot tell stories we didn't experience, even if the stories are not about us, only about other people. We need to make connections with other people, with experience which is not ours, but we are connected and we are telling about that. And also, our stories are determining our realities. If we can see realities, as I said, problematic, challenging, frustrating, we will create these stories in life. We will share these stories. But if we can see the life, even during the challenging times, as opportunities to create what we didn't create for some reasons before, we will create different realities. So I like working with stories, not just looking back and telling what I experienced, but also looking forward and to design what I want to tell. And sometimes I'm asking people, okay, what the story you would like to tell at the end of next year? It's actually about what you are going to create in your life for the next year. What the story you would like to tell if you take these challenges and to become first-time leader in 1 year? What the story about your team you would like to create, and you and your team members will be telling the same stories, or it will be different stories? And also, why we are so why stories are so exciting things for us, but also very challenging, because we are committed to our stories. And stories are not only positive, stories can limit us. And then I think you might heard about fixed mindset and growth mindset. Yeah. So it means fixed mindset, this is stories we already had, and these stories can limit us, and also it can become very heavy baggage, and we need to care, but sometimes it's necessary to let stories to, to rest in peace. There are many stories which are limiting us because they are not serving us any well now. And we need to create space for new stories. And also, we are committed to the old stories. And I'm inviting you to think, what are the new stories, future stories I'm committed more, what I want to create. And also, if the leaders are here, or professional providers are here, or team members are here, and if you would like to know about the values of other people, you can ask, what are your values? And I can say, okay, creativity, what does it mean? How do I understand creativity? But listen to the stories someone is sharing, because values are showing up through stories. We can demonstrate, and we can tell, and we can live, and we can walk. And so why I'm encouraging leaders to pay attention to stories they peers are telling, they partners are telling, they maybe competitors are telling, because you can understand about values much more. And also, stories definitely is about impact. Every story has impact. The question is, are we ready to define what this impact is about? Let's move. And this is my question to you. Right now or after, when this webinar is over, Mark, what is your story? What is your one story you would like to tell, knowing that the entire world would be able to listen to you? Just one story. What would it about? About your challenge, about your triumph, about your hesitation, about your big, bold move, or about very tender moment when someone can touch your soul? What the story would be about. The power of story doesn't matter. It's big story or small. It doesn't matter. Every story has a power. And notice this, and we can move forward. We are talking about maps. I don't know if you like exploring. I like. Igor, would you like? Do you like exploring?
Good question. Um, I would say that exploration is part of our life, especially its main part for any entrepreneur. Because at the end of the day, when you create something, yeah, you are exploring. And the main difference between entrepreneurs and people who are not in business is entrepreneurs, they have no idea how it looks like, how it's gonna work, but they just know that they have to try, and they won't stop before until they'll try. and this try something that you never had before. It's about discovery. So yeah, that would be my definition.
Thank you, Igor. And I just look at the chat and thank you, Mikhailo. Kashin and Mikhailo wrote story is a summary with an open door. Wonderful. Another metaphor, the open doors. Stories are opening doors to the new possibilities, to the life, to the people, to the experiences, to the knowledge, and to the challenges too. And also Mikhailo gave the abbreviation story, small travel of reality for you. Mikhailo, we are on the same page. Great, thank you, thank you. But Igor, can you open the next slide? And this is, I was telling you that this invitation for you to explore what kind of stories do you have and what is your story portfolio. When I mentioned about story portfolio for a leader, when we are having chat exchange with Igor, he said, what does it mean? I said, Igor, probably it will time when you can discover it. So definitely there are many stories we can explore, but I'd like you to look at some core stories that doesn't matter what we are doing. Leading the company, creating startup, teaching people, serving customers, it doesn't matter. We all have the kind of stories which the first type of stories, who am I story. This is exactly that I came to a co-working space here in DC, working women co-working space, professional women co-working space. And it was like lunch event, maybe 30, 35, about 40 women. And everybody has only 90 seconds. And the question is, what is your story? It's not elevator pitch, no. It's what is your story? And what it's necessary to say when somebody will be saying very similar things. This is exactly how story can work in as a connector, because it's necessary to say something that other people would be interested to come to you to speak. Not explain whole life, just to say, okay, I connected 5 professional lives, and now it's very challenging. That's all. Even less than 90 seconds. And also, I'm inviting you to draft the answer. What is your story? And just start questioning. Is this the same story you are telling to everybody, to your neighbors, to the parents of your children at the school, to the new clients? When you're preparing to speak at the big international conference, is it the same story or it will be different story? But about you, you are not changing, but you are telling different stories about yourself. And also another type of story, which is very close to this who am I story, why I am here stories, actually what I do. This is the story here you ask me. Why you are doing what you are doing? This is a
Why?
story. Yeah. And also our life, because we are getting experience and this experience are very different. So there are some stories that we can share our teaching lessons and the stories about our experience, sometimes about painful experience, sometimes about very, very exciting experience, sometimes about so challenging experience, challenging and exciting. We don't know how challenging, how exciting these are. And this is actually, we can give lecture, but we can tell stories. This what parents are doing for children. They are not giving lectures, they are giving stories. They are telling stories. It's not bedtime stories, but it's stories about how to behave, how to create connections, how to deal with the challenges which happen for the first time, how to go through the first love, yeah, and how to deal with the first breakup. This is teaching stories. And leaders, I think, in addition to have only about success stories, to have failure stories, to have frustration stories, to have confusion stories, to have I lost myself stories, to have I don't know what to do stories. And when I was teaching the communication courses at the business school, I was asking leaders to write their stories. And I made very interesting observation. 1/3 of story was about who am I story. Another third of stories were about experience stories, teaching stories. And many of them were about success stories. And one third was extremely interesting, challenging stories or changing stories, because changes are inevitable, and what is constant in life is changes, is that life is changing constantly. As leaders, as entrepreneurs, as a teachers, um, as a community leaders and volunteers, you have vision stories, definitely. It's not about I have a dream, this kind of story, like Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. We all have dreams and we have vision stories. And this vision will be where I can see myself, my team, my company next year, in 1 week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. And these vision stories can be different for family, for community, for country, for profession, for your startup, or for your scale up. And also another type of stories which are very connected to, we are expressing our values through stories, values in action stories. I can say courage is my value, but how do you, can you trust me that courage is my value? Until I can tell you the story that I was 7 years old and I was running to the neighbors again in late evening on November when my mom had a heart attack. My brother was with her, just three of us were at home. Our father was on the business trip. We didn't have the telephone at home. And I was running to neighbors asking to call emergency. And I was scared to the death because it was dark. I was thinking that all possible wolves were running, were chasing me. But I was doing it for my mom. And when I'm 62 plus, when I'm feeling scared, I am coming back to my childhood and I'm saying, hi, if you were able to do it then, you can do it now. It's about to
Hmm.
be brave
Good
when you're
example.
scared. Yes. And also another very interesting story, it's I know what you're thinking stories. It's how to take the concerns your vis-a-vis can have. I know what you're thinking about. You're thinking I'm not capable to do something. I can tell you the story. You don't know that I can deal with the challenging thinking. I can tell you the story that confirm you. It's your choice to trust me or not, but I'm doing my work and we can move forward. And I'm asking you, Igor, and I'm asking everybody. Igor definitely know this. Thank you for allowing me to use this case. When we met and we had very first conversation in Ukrainian, and I suggested Igor, okay, Igor, let's do it in English. Let's bring your stories. Let's tell about what you're doing. And this is what I'm calling narrative analysis. One interview, like 49 minutes, 48 minutes. You can listen to on my YouTube channel. It's Story Up podcast, and just one interview. It's only portion, some fraction of stories which were here inside. It's about exploration. So definitely an ambitious village boy from Transcarpathian who wants to conquer the world. It's exactly what you said, Ihor. And this is your story,
Hmm.
why you are here. You are now in San Francisco. But what is your way from Svalava? Yeah, Svalava, I'm sure I'm
Hmm.
correct. Yeah, to
Yeah.
San Francisco. Yes. And also, when you say it was boring to study economics, but it was exciting to open online store, online store, online store. And this is about entrepreneurial energy. And also how Workee came up to the life. COVID time and help me son. And this is a story about Ihor's mom who asked him to help. And also $100 startup, books and do's, because someone recommended Ihor to read this book, but it explained a lot what this company is doing and why Ihor is doing it. And also, I was challenging Igor a little bit, and he said, I love unsatisfied clients. And I said, would you be ready if I'm becoming your unsatisfied client? And he said, yes. And I'm exploring Workee now. Yes. And also, how is possible to say that someone is caring about you if someone is caring, your feedback is a gift for me? Not all
Hmm.
feedbacks are fluffy and sugar coated. Some feedbacks are very challenging. Yes. But if you really
Yeah.
would like to create something useful for people, accept difficult feedbacks. And also, the best time is now. It's like philosophy. Not tomorrow, not in 1 year, now. And the best story is coming now. The best story work is happening now. This is why I'm asking you, write your story now. 7 sentences, 1 sentence, 5 words, it doesn't matter. Do your work now. I'm here to encourage you to do it. And also, very short question, Igor, what you value the most? And his answer was trust. And this is the seed of story. What story can tell you that trust is really your value? And this is what is possible to explore. The same is for partnership. So this is a short example of what is possible, how it's possible to explore the stories which are hidden just in one conversation. I'm inviting people who are here, who will be listening to us. Come back to your Instagram. Come back to your social media. Come back to your short pieces of expressions you shared, and look at through story lens what stories were told or were hidden there in what you already shared. Move forward. And this is, I'm inviting you to use story mapping to mapping mindset. If you heard about mind mapping, not just put a list of stories, just create map. Values, what are your values? Challenges, what are your challenges? Uh, Painful moments, what are your painful moments? Uh, Startups or beginning or ending. And this is, you can create your story map. And anytime you will need to tell the story, you don't need to go to your mental shells, okay, making some, okay, what is my story? What is the story I need to tell now? You already had it. Do your work, do your homework. Create your story mindset, and trust me, you will be surprised how many stories do you have. Really. But look at, put it on the pages, created it. I like Tony Busan mind mapping mindset. Look at, and you can benefit, trust me, and we can move forward. Coming back to transformational story, why about transformational story? Not all stories are transformational, but there are some special kind of stories which are showing what is happening and why it's happening and how it's changing. And this is a picture I made on Hawaii, and we are visiting the volcanoes on the main island. And when we are driving, I stop and I make the picture to see how this little green things were showing up through places where lava was going. Everything was dead, but life cannot be dead. Life can find a way to show up. And this is how transformation is happening. And why we are talking about challenging moments, because challenging moments are making us stronger and are helping to bring something, the new energy that needs to be bring to create the new life, the new version of life. And we can move forward. It's very metaphorical. But the question to you, I promise to share with you the transformational story model I discovered. This is how it appeared mm, 13 years ago when I was preparing to speak at the one event that international um, American Chamber of Commerce was conducting in Ukraine. It was the first like inaugural event for women leaders. And I was invited to speak. And I was thinking, okay, what I can tell the experienced leaders, CEO, the owners of the companies, what I can bring to them, what I can tell about leadership they don't know. And it was a moment when I always said, okay, probably I need to ask somebody else to, to speak instead of me, because I had to be first speaker. And then I'm thinking, okay, does it mean that you are ready to retreat, or you can deal with the challenge? And I came up with a story model. It happened at one moment. I went through what is the context, why I'm scared, why I'm confused, context internal, external, too big pressure, to be the willingness to do something well, to impress people or to change their points of view about leadership. And I look at, okay, what is a challenge? Challenge to do something that I was not ready to do before, because I can repeat something that other people told about stories and leadership, or where is my fingerprint on this story work? Okay, if it's challenge, okay, do your inner work. And I look at the situation as a chance, not something that came from the sky, but the chance to do something that I didn't do before. put everything together I know about stories, and see, okay, what is possible to do. And I made a choice to speak and to present my newly born story model, transformational story model, for 300 people, very demanding, very experienced, powerful women. And this is when the model was born. And the change happened because it became like my not just my author's model. You can move forward. Yeah, here. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I took this symbol. It's from Tripilia culture. It's very old, thousands of years Tripilia culture in Ukraine, when the language didn't exist, but the symbols exist. And this is the stamp of mastery. I took it as my stamp of mastery, and I'm using it. So you will not surprise when you see this little symbol on my work I'm doing. Next
Mm-hmm.
word. And this is, I am inviting you to look at. Next slide, if possible. I am inviting you to look at this story model, and the story you choose went through this model. What the story is about, what is the context, internal, external, professional, business, leadership, transformational, and then to see what is really challenge there. Not the problem, not the issue, but challenge you cannot ignore anymore. And this is a challenge. Not any problem is a challenge, but you cannot ignore something anymore. This is a challenge. And then what is your choice? And what is the openings? Thank you, Mikhailo, for telling this is opening new door. What this challenge is opening new door. And then what choice you are doing in that story, and that what results you can get, what is a change. And this is what the model I am sharing with you, and I am inviting you just look at through my model, look at your stories. Can you move forward? And the question to you, what is your transformational stories? Take one. Don't take 10, just one. Even simple story, and look at if there are any transformational seeds there. Move forward. And I can give you how to prepare to share your story, how to prepare to analyze your story, because story is the product. But until you are doing all of this preparation, and then you are packing as a story, as a product, and you can see, okay, what is the idea and meaning in my story? What the story is about? Why is the reason to tell this story? I would like to encourage, I would like to teach, I would like to inspire, I would like to create changes, I would like to invite to partner with me, I would like to follow me, I would like to challenge my points of view, to be my provocative thinker partner. And who are my audiences? Because we cannot tell one story to everybody. We can tell the same story to different people in different ways. The core would be the same, the idea would be the same, but the way how we are doing it would be different. And also, every story, if you would like to have this story as a transformational, you need to have call to actions. What to do? So what? You shared my story. So what? What I should do with this? Just to remember about that, or do something else? And this is why changes are happening. And this is why it's important to have transform, because transformation is not happening when we are not doing anything. Transformation is about actions. And the question, who are you in your story? You are the provocator, you are the creator, you are the hero, or you are the mentor for somebody who can see yourself, herself through your stories. Who are you in your story? And you have many different roles in your story. And then next, time is flying so fast. And also, I'd like you to take these 5 questions. I'm calling these 5 strategic questions. They're very simple. And again, you already can answer these questions when you're doing your homework. And this is questions to support the previous picture. Again, mind map, how to analyze your story and to be ready to share. Story work sometimes, I'd like to say that before you are coming to the question how, spend enough time to answer the question what. 80% of time, answer the question, what? And only after that move into how, because very often we are jumping into how without being clear what we are going to share, what we are going to create, what we are going to receive. Because story is so powerful, we can uplift people, we can put people down because of sharing our stories. The question is what we are doing, and if we are really aware about what we are doing, especially where we are leaders. Next slides, and we are coming back. Okay, any answer to the question what that picture was about? I think so, but
yeah, I guess I had this idea that this is a picture of you traveling to the US by ferry.
no, it was the picture about 5-year-old me
See,
who
I'm
was
both.
dreaming to be the captain of the big white ship, and who was steering the wheel, and who was moving through the big ocean, and who was visiting different countries, and who was speaking different languages. I was born in small town in Zhytomyr region. It's Polisia. I never seen the sea until I was 35-year-old. I never flew to another country, even to the US, when I was 36-year-old. But it didn't stop me to imagine. That time we even didn't have TV at home. But it was imagination, and I saw myself then. And this is my soul, actually. This is my little me, the nature of me, the core of me, who is discovering the world and who is working with leaders. But that story came when the book came, Pebbles in the Pond. I contributed to the story, to the collection of stories, and this is the book. So this is this book, yeah? To the collection of stories, I was the single one, the only one from Slavic continent, from Ukraine. And I was writing the story in English. It was my first story published in English. And with one published story, I became the member of best-selling authors international community, because that book became the bestseller in 48 hours in the Kindle section. One
Nice.
story. But that story, when I shared that picture and I was speaking at a coaching event, that picture brought me 1-year coaching client. And this is about ROI on story. We are talking about ROI on an investment, but ROI on story, you never know how your story can resonate. And the lady came to me saying, I never seen her before. We didn't have any connection. And he said, I'd like to have coffee with you. And I said, okay. And he said, I'd like to work with you. I said, okay, what you would like to do? And she said, I need to make many changes in my life at the same time. I was not selling anything. I was not saying,
Nice.
this is
Nice
my
story.
program, this is my program, this is my class, this is my online class. No, I just said the metaphors of life, because the topic was about metaphors and coaching and life. And she came. And if you're thinking that story is not working, no, story is working. I don't like selling stories, using stories as a hook. I don't like it. But be honest and be authentic in what you are sharing. I am not sharing anything with you. I'm not inviting to any of my classes. No, I'm just here to show you what is possible to do with stories. And this book came at a very challenging time when I was going through my chemotherapy. So I had breast cancer, so I had surgeries, I had chemotherapies, and it's my little hair. And that story, when I was working on that story, that book was published 10 years ago, exactly at the year when it was very challenging for me. But that story gave me the reason to say life is bigger than any challenges. And the story, which can be painful, can give you the way. I didn't care about how I'm looking. I was preparing to speak internationally for the people when this book was released 10 years ago. And now I'm thinking that now it's my turn, because I am really confident to become the publisher and help other people to bring their stories to life, to other people. And this is why publishing is showing up. Because someone helped me to do this 10 years ago. Now it's my turn to help other people. And it can be different stories. It can be transformational stories. And we are at the end. This is what I'd like to share with you.
Nice, Lara. I learned so much from you and from your stories today. It was amazing transformation and all those challenges that you had and keep having in your life. It's an incredible example for many of us. So,
And in a few slides last, I'd like you to have some extra homework, because story is actions to impact. And I am inviting you to follow with these actions. Again, if you really value yourself and your story, I am very straightforward. If you really value your experience and your stories, do your work, let your story fly, let your story speak, let your story come to other people. Put a list of your stories you already experienced and look at which of them have this transformational seed. And if you see, take 1, 2, maximum 3, and analyze them through the model I just shared with you. And what the stories are about, and do this homework, and what message you would like to share. My message to you was very clear. Love your story. Love your stories. Be partner for your stories. Work for your stories and with your stories. And become the producer of your stories, because your stories are showing who you are. And also, what benefit your stories can bring to other people. And what is a context situation when you can bring this story? It's speaking engagement you have, it's your team meeting tomorrow or on next Monday, or your strategy session with your clients, or your conversation with your wife about the next changes or challenging things you have in your family. And then how you can do it. You can write, you can make video, you can transform your story into blog post. Maybe you can start the new course, new program, or new product developed. It's up to you. It's not possible to tell everything about everything just in 60 minutes, but I think we did a very good job coming back to this point,
yes.
and we can finish. Igor, how you would like to finish it?
Yes, so just we'll give a couple of minutes for our audience to pose their questions if you have any. So, guys, if you have any other questions to me or Lara or Power of Transformational Stories, let us know. We have our Q&A section here, so we'd love to hear from you. So let's give us a chance to review what we have here. Yes, we have. Thank you, Mike, for comments. We appreciate. You love it. So feel free to ask us questions if you have any. So it's your chance to get your question to the point and get answer to the point from us, if you have something. Otherwise, this session will be recorded. It is, and we'll definitely post it in our YouTube channel and promote. So hopefully more and more people will learn how we can transform our lives with such incredible stories. Otherwise, yeah, Lara, it was great pleasure talking with you again and learning a little bit more about your story and the great examples that you are showing. We and everyone who is here and who is not here, I guess we sincerely wishing you to your next big success with your authorship goal. So I'll definitely post it in my memory and to track and read hopefully soon your books. So please keep doing the great work and great example for everyone.
Thank you, Ihor, and thank you, Mihailo, for your comment, and also just post your video on LinkedIn. I will great share it. Wonderful. And also, Mihailo, I think we can speak because we had some experience before, and I'm very glad that you are here. So, again, I'd like to repeat, your uniqueness is in your stories. There are many leadership coaches, there are many leaders, there are many entrepreneurs, that only you who have the stories. like fingerprint that you can share. Even if the stories are similar to dozens of other stories, it doesn't matter because everybody is unique and universal at the same time. Our stories are uniquely universal. And because they are uniquely universal, they are resonating in different ways, in powerful way, in transformational way. It's only your choice to make a choice to let your story fly. And this is why I love Wings and Angels, because you are the angel, story angel for yourself. Take it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a great ending. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you again, our beautiful guest, for joining us. I wish everyone here to uh, find something for you and implement those rules. Because it seems like really simple rules, but then the day it's really hard to tell one story about your life. So Lara gave us great guidance how we can do this actually. So uh, good luck, everyone, and hope to see you soon with more of our beautiful guests. Thank you and see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. All the best.